I am not a fan of that Void Cyber. They hate First 25. What is up with that?
That's appropriate.
But I love them. They're good. They're good. That's awesome.
I love them even more because they put that guy with the
Right.
first 25
Well,
cards in his
hey,
place.
let's settle down, sir. You don't know what you're
Step
saying.
away.
You're speaking
I know.
emotionally. You know, you gotta think logically about this.
Oh, I forget. You can ban people here and may they not make you angry.
Yeah,
I know you like to abuse your power.
Discord wars and all. You know, take. Hanford, how are you and Ruby doing?
I'd be doing better if I had the day off and I was with her.
Oh no! I thought you were gonna take some time off from work.
Yeah, I'll probably go home early today or tomorrow or whenever I can get away with it.
You just say Urban Gecko said I can go home.
And if he wants, he can come see me about it. And by the time he gets here, you'll already be back at work.
Oh, Push is in here.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good morning. Show us those fabulous
Having a good
dreadlocks.
hair day?
I usually always have a good hair day, except Mondays. Mondays are just a disaster. And it's largely because of excessive drinking over the weekend. I won't blame anything else.
As long as you think you're fabulous, that's all that matters.
Are you saying it because you want a spot on the MVP? Or are you actually praising my hair? Now I'm not sure what's going on. Did you guys check out the new finance website?
Looks
New finance
great.
websites?
We've refreshed the homepage. Earlier it was just when you would go to rfox.finance, it would take you straight to the app, right? Now we've segregated it and added a homepage, and now there's a separate way to go to the app, just to clean it up a little bit.
That background is so seductive. I much prefer that one.
People want to see your hair, Piyush.
I just
Hair
sent
reveal, hair reveal, hair reveal, hair reveal.
I just sent a picture.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I didn't know you went blonde.
That's literally when I get the first message from Benny on a Monday morning. I wake up and, if you look around, this is exactly what I look like. Body shape, hair, all on point. Hi, Benny. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Very good. Benny, we were just discussing how nice the new RFOX Finance page looks, homepage.
Yeah. Has everybody had a chance to see it yet? Give us a honk. Yeah, it's a really, really nice site, huh? Very clean.
And just as a, I'm not going to spoil anything because, you guys know I'm not as into it as Benny is, but we have another website that's currently being redone that's nearing completion. So we should also have a very important website up and running and refreshed in the next couple of days. I won't say which one.
Just real questions.
Robot.
How's that better?
Much better.
All right, I'm on data. Yeah, that's better.
You sounded like...
Okay, so just before we get started, the other day I was looking through NFTs and someone had mentioned this in here. Had said, and I've only got a few hundred of them, but I was looking through trying to work out what could be printed. Did I go out again?
Yeah, last word we heard was printed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going back to data. Back to Wi-Fi. There you go. Back to Wi-Fi. I don't know if this could work. It's very weird. I've had good connection all day. What I was saying was when you go to print some of these NFTs as artwork on a wall, most of it is just not good enough. Most of it is just not something that you'd want to have on a wall. So, very interested to hear what you think. Sounds like Daft Punk. What you would, any of the ones that you recommend that would make good wall art. Someone was talking about it the other day. Most of them just don't translate. Most of them just don't look good at all. Interested to hear your opinions. Drug receipts. So you imagine printing that out on a canvas and sticking it up on the wall in your house, that would look okay.
Seen a few of their printouts already. It looks flipping amazing. The colors are incredible.
Okay, that's
There's
a good
one of mine.
Oh yeah, that probably would look alright. Okay, cool.
Davy's girlfriend, Hondorf. Her art is incredible.
It's just funny, isn't it? Because people are saying we're buying for the art at this particular point in time because the utility's sort of coming for the majority of them, and yet they don't make good art. Hondorf. Yeah, so good recommendations. I think that we're going to have some pretty good ones for you soon. Okay, so what are the questions for this week? 65 slam. We've got a big week for you. We've got some yes. Okay. So when will the actual economic instead of just an infographic? Yes. Good question. So I'm almost ready to submit that. Then I have to allow our wonderful marketing team some time to put it into order, because when I do things it's very messy. But I think we've got there now as far as answering all of the questions are concerned. We're still going to have new questions come at us for sure, but we're almost ready to go. Oh, that looks good. Actually, I discounted the party bears due to the fact that they are videos. So I always imagine that when you go to print them, you get the little video symbol and stuff like that. That looks pretty good. Well done, F1 Rocco. Will holding a mega box or 2 ECT be included in the economics? So we have listed what is included at this stage, but we're also very cognizant of the fact, and this is something that I would put a poll. I'll put a poll now in here, so I'll ask you right now. This is good because you don't have to actually say who you are. I'm putting 2 questions in. Let's see what people write. First answer gets an RFOX 2020. Not quite. They're not that plentiful. Okay, fair enough. So some people are waiting for the full economic paper to see. I think it's also going to be dependent upon what people do as well, what they choose to actually to do with it. Will you burn for avatars? Yes. Burn. Everyone depends on utility and rarity. Hold for games. So far, I'll burn some, hold the rest. Yeah, so we've got a mix actually. It's roughly it's close to down the middle, I would assume, but we've also got a number of people who are saying that it would be dependent on what other people do. So if lots are being burned, they wouldn't. So therefore, that does open up the possibility for us to work out other people who for COG. So that would allow us to go to deeper mechanisms or other. I'll burn because I have not many tubes. Yep, far too long collecting. FMH, I think a lot of people are sort of thinking the same thing. Both. And you also see that a lot of people pick up tubes when they get put on the market cheaply, and they'll, like I looked through mine and sort of thought to myself, I'd have to buy a number of common tubes or a number of different level tubes to be eligible. Big holders with RFOX 2020, Mint Lab, Kogu, Ultra Air Falls don't need to burn. Yeah. Only burning some common, uncommon. Yep, that makes sense. it's going to be interesting to see how that actually plays out. And people will also tell you that they're going to do one thing and then end up doing another, of course, as well. So that's going to be very interesting. Is there a cap on the multiplier for apartment and avatar staking? So, Crypto Bull, there'll be a calculator of sorts that you'll be able to type in and work out what those multipliers will be, but they will, of course, be dependent on how many people are actually entering the pools. So the pool size will definitely determine that. Keep 70 cent and burn 30 until I know for sure. Needs to know more info, 100%. And again, once you know the info, I think it's still going to be largely up to what people are doing. I think there'll be a lot of shuffling around and shifting positions. You get 35 without burning a thing, Adelaide. See? I'll tell you what, because a lot of people had been talking about the slowdown, and the games team are working really hard to make sure that there's more games and utility and everything coming as well. But we did say that we always try to look after the early investors and the people that were here early on, and that's something that's very, very important. And this, I think, shows that for the people that have spent the time and effort in doing different things and collecting 35's fantastic, Adelaide. I think there's some people that mention Hanford. I think Hanford's like that picture of Scrooge McDuck that in the pile of money. I think everybody knows that picture, right? Multipliers have to offset the tournament rewards.
I'll be burning a lot.
Yeah, the XP. That's the other thing that you have to look at as well, is to have a look at tournament rewards and see what's happening there as well. Plus, people will have more information to work with in the economic paper, so it all could change easily. Yeah, I think that what you're really going to get with that is more sort of the backstory. So, what are the avatars? What are the apartments? Why they exist? And how? So it's more sort of the verbiage around that. But there's also more complicated tables, so to speak. But ultimately, again, anytime you have a pool, you're looking at what goes in will impact. So the amounts going in and out will 100% impact the returns. Get into this poll, people. Interesting to see what people care about most. 6 hours left on the poll. If you had to choose one, what would you look most in a metaverse? High-end graphics, functionality, community, followers, celeb. What the fuck's the metaverse? That's actually a very interesting poll. How many have you got? Only 34. Be good to give that. Let me retweet that for you as well, see if I can get you some more votes, because I think what you'll find is that will change hugely. So functionality and use cases, 100% for sure, because that's what people want, utility, right? High-end graphics, you're right, probably lasts for a short period of time before people sort of grow tired or weary of that, or it doesn't have the same effect. But I think you'll find that the community side of things will be much bigger, because don't forget, it will follow the same pretenses like NFTs, in the sense that if you've got strong community will provide you with the utility and access. So I think that will be a big player as well. I'll retweet it for you. Maybe if everybody retweets it, we might get some good votes. Graphics for you. Really? There you go, Scrooge McDuck. Hi, Benny. Just curious, when did you and your team come up with the ideas for the new economic model? So, JD Crypto, we've always had the ideas for the model in relation to the components, but as far as actually like how it would work, as far as like burning cogs to get that to do this, that was sort of something that we'd worked for. So we knew avatars. We've obviously talked about hoverboards, cars, apartments, that type of stuff. So that was always in the plan, but how to put them together to reward people and how to make sure that we had a self-sustaining ecosystem once it did go out, that was developed over the course of the last few months. It took a good few months to put that together. It's a good question. So we plan a long time out for a lot of the stuff that we do, but when it comes to tokenomics or the way it fits into your structure, like for example, if we had have done it a year ago, we wouldn't have incorporated the COGS component. But times changed. Now, when I say we wouldn't have incorporated it, we wouldn't have necessarily gone with half. So things change, weightings change, structures change. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. With the next few games in the pipeline, will these be restricted geographically or open universally? I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I think Wednesday. Look, most of the things that we do are going to be universally. That's the idea. Diving into money. It's been released. Link. No. Metaverse would boil down to customer experience for me. If it is shit slow, 50-click experience, yeah. So that's a good one, Artesh. I think that's really important as well. I think that the biggest thing with us, and Piyush knows what's coming, but I think for us, as we know, it's a click together ecosystem and structure and platform that showcases the products that we're bringing out. I think the really good component of getting in early. So what do you get if you get in early? Are you going to get concerts and fireworks and AAA graphics and all the rest of it? Absolutely not. But what you are going to get is a voice and a chance to provide really good targeted feedback as a consumer. So I think that from a customer experience perspective, having an active voice and a chance to be able to have your say to people that are listening and able to exact changes based on what you're saying is, I think, is wonderful. I think there's going to be. I think you guys have already had tons of fantastic suggestions, and that will be great to be able to talk to a relatively small group of you when it first starts, and then that'll obviously expand, and to have your input and feedback is going to be awesome. Where will there be changes to the current tube eligibility? Common falls are rarer than standard URs and require more to tube, and yet you need more to mint. So what we have said, Monte Cristo, is it's everything's subject to change, and we were trying to give everybody the best indicator that we can. What we know is that with any goalpost, you can make things easier. You should not make things harder. So we do have the flexibility on making changes to the positive side. We are definitely looking at all the angles and listening to the feedback. And again, that's why those polls are important, because we've probably got, 5,500 that could potentially be claimed based on what we've got so far, plus there'd be more to be assembled. But ultimately, judging by people's feedback, a lot of them aren't going to be redeemed as well. That could be as much as 20-30%. So based on early indications, so there could be as much as 1,500 or so that are left not redeemed, and that would give us the flexibility of allowing more things in. Same function to be usable, community to be successful and massive. And again, Lara, we spoke about that last week in relation to the fact that someone was saying Decentraland had approximately 2,000 users a day. It is definitely going to be our intention to try and scale as quickly as humanly possible and get as many people in there. But to get multiple people in there and coming back, there has to be the engagement. So we're working on lots of different initiatives for how to keep people entertained, how to make sure that you're being rewarded for your feedback in bug finding and solutions, which is all going to be extremely important. And because we're plugging into an internal build team as well, that goes straight to the people that can actually do something. Needs to be fun too, especially if games are in it. If not fun, feeling like I've accomplished something. Yeah, for sure. So I think one thing that video games have taught us, and that's something that our team's very familiar with as well in the Valt design team, is gamification, levels, progress, status. You have to feel as though you've accomplished something, and we've said that if we are ever doing rewards as any component of the ecosystem, the rewards have to be worth your time. That's what's really important. It's an attention economy, and we need to make sure that we are 100% rewarding people for their time. I think adding more resolution to the list would help with that. Foil should not be burned. That's criminal. Yeah, and Urban Gecko, some of the suggested burn stuff is obviously a tough decision for people, and they don't want to do that. But you've also got to take into consideration that it's been a labour of love for a lot of us, and we've spent a lot of time toiling trying to put these sets together, doing trades and getting those put through. And other people have come along and said, "Hey, that's a cheap tube," and just bought it. So I think that it depends on how you've obtained that as well. Some people don't care. Benny, I've got to run for a meeting. Can I make a quick spot before I go? Drop. Yeah, sure.
Just to let everyone know, we are opening the sign-ups for Vault MVP. You can now head to rfoxvault.com and you will be able to enter your details and tell us why we should consider you for access. As you know, there are a limited number of slots available. Of course, this is going to be based as lottery, and starting next week, we'll also come up with a couple of contests to give you straight off, front of the line access. But anybody who wants to enter their details tonight, please, by all means, go ahead and start filling in. Lala will share the link by the end of this call as well.
Well, there's a bit of alpha for you. Stay here, though. Open up another tab. MintLab progress, please. What are the next steps? So the two things that have been worked on for MintLab is the whitelisting process to make that less manual, because we really, I've said this before and I'll say it again, as far as products out that are usable, that's probably the most underutilized and a chance for us to really go bang. And the use cases for MintLab have only been looked at for the purpose of minting derivatives that can be used in COGS or for redemption of whitelist. I think that a couple of clever cookies here have worked out that that's just one use case for what can be done with it. So the answer to that question is it's actively being, there's two components, and the second one slips my head at the moment, came up in today's meeting, the whitelist and one more. I forget, it'll come back to me later, Metaverse Explorer, but that is 100% on our radar. It'll be ramped up, and then the next question from Monte Cristo is COGS burning, floor burning soon, 100% with the Mint Lab. As you know, we take the money from the proceeds for that and burn the floor. So that is, I can't tell you how much I think Mint Lab will be utilised as we move forwards and other people start getting involved. What other ventures will be launching with the MVP of the Vault? Oh, good. Piyush has ducked off, and Piyush is gone, and Pete.
I'm still here, but we're not making an announcement on this tonight, Penny, right?
Oh, right. I thought I was mute button free there for a minute, mate. You were.
At that
lucky.
question, I knew this was going to happen, so I just stayed back to say limited spoilers, please, Benny.
Oh,
But weren't we in this today on a call on something, on what's coming next and when?
But I still like to be able to say Mum and Dad said I can't come out to play. But yes, let's just say, all I'll say is this, Piyush, this is the biggest clue I can give without giving anything away. Let's just say that the Vault is the showcase of all the other products and services, right? So timing is crucial. That's all I can say. I've spent months and one foil set I'm working on for over a year and still 5 or 6 short. I just can't get hold of them. Foils are hard when you're a peasant like me. And also, Urban Gecko, I don't know how many times it's happened to other people, but especially happened to me several times in the beginning. I've gotten to the last cog in a set and I've literally just gone, screw it, I'll just buy them. And I've bought every single cog. And then I get to the last one and it says, never been minted yet. And I go, oh, come on. Probably should have checked that before I started. 2 sets where there's no content to actually complete the set. Because I'll make free video content. So Metaverse Explorer are you already, you'll be joining us on RFOX TV, I would assume. Slack asks, I'll give away a 3rd edition rare gold slammer in the wheel tonight if you accept my time traveler trade. Are you trying to get my time travelers or are you trying to give me time travelers? Because if you're trying to get my time travelers, the hell might have to freeze over. If you, oh, hello. All right. I haven't looked at it. I will. I must do that. That's a big one. It's hard for me, man. Been so busy, I must admit I haven't tried much lately, but got two the other day. What we used to do, Urban Gecko, back in the early days, and some of the people on this call would remember, we used to literally just advertise it. We used to say, Urban Gecko's looking for XYZ, and then get people to help. Will this other venture launch this year? Can we know this at least? What other venture? I can't think of anything that's not launching this year. That's all I can say. I don't think there's anything that we have that's not launching this year. Time is crucial. Anyone want to expand on this hint? I'm still waiting on a first edition rare foil to be minted to finish a set. Yeah, I've got the same thing, mate. I think I've got two like that. AKR, if Valt is operating and has other ventures, then does that not mean that other ventures are required? Yes, it does. Lines read between. Give you any more insight on being first to market over quality? You always give us a curly one every night, XP. God bless you. Any more insight? Yes, there's a couple of videos that came out over the course of the weekend or so. Again, I'm always reluctant to push people to videos, especially particular creators, because they tend to go bad real quick. But ultimately, as soon as money comes in, it's a very, very good question. And what I can say is, again, Sandbox has been mentioned a lot recently in relation to lots of people trying to build and yet still saying it's super early and it's very, very difficult to build. You've probably seen lots of comments over the last year or so with people saying, it's not really kind of ready to launch yet. And then it's sort of going through the iterations, having parties and rooms and instances and stuff like that. But have a look at the base that they've been able to build and the attention they've been able to attract. It is definitely important to, if anyone's coming into this space, they know them as a player because they did move early, put a stamp on the ground and say, we're here. So there is definitely advantage to that. Now, when you're talking about it over quality, the thing is, the quality that we're kind of all expecting from a metaverse, we know is a long way away, right? Because as soon as you integrate multiple payment methods and wallets, multi-chain architecture, you've got complexities beyond imagination for most people, and even people that have come in from the gaming world into our side have said this is not like building a normal game. It's much, much more difficult and many more moving pieces, and the fact that we've got a click together environment makes it even harder. So I think that the quality that we're looking for or we're expecting in a polished metaverse, we know is a long, long, long way away. So what you're going to get is iteration after iteration, and it's the winners will be those that sort of take on the feedback, identify the trends, and are quick to adapt and to be liquid in their approach. If you wait for something to be completely polished and of very, very high quality and high resolution and then go out and say, ta-da, we're still so early that we don't know what the actual predominant use case will be as far as where people will spend all of their time and effort. When do I get my penthouse for the Valiant? I can't guarantee any penthouses, mate. Bitcoin, it's in your wallet, Benny. Okay. Any plans to have staking rewards similar to Looks for RFOX Marketplace? We are looking at doing some rewards for sure and certain. We have to be competitive. We have to make sure that there is an angle or there's a reason. Otherwise, why wouldn't you just go trade on Looksrare or OpenSea? And I think that, a proposition of saying that you have multiple chains or wallet integration, stuff like that is cool. And it's definitely a selling point. And I know that there's marketplaces now that have multi-chain, but you've got to sort of toggle and log in and out to different wallets to get across them. But there's certain things that would make it more appealing on a user perspective, but then to have a good reward structure is imperative as well going forward. So it's something that we're working on now. And the difference between us and something like LooksRare is able to go out and release a token into the market specifically for the purpose of attracting users and tokens out, and we don't have the same type of supply that they do. So we're looking at a number of different options at the moment to make sure that we can have an attractive proposition for you all. What functionality will the Vault MVP actually have on the 27th? Buying, selling, menus, chatting, ability to add friends, etc. Will the shops be set up with real assets, etc., or is that on shop owners to repair? So the shop owners portal is something that we'll definitely talk more about and show more heading into the release. And on the 27th, so we've got lots of functionality that's been added since the first look through. So we've obviously got chat and collision and multiplayer. We've got the shop owners portal's been fleshed out a lot now, so that there's tons of more use case and usability, and realistically there'll be the ability to buy and sell, but ultimately it is a matter of getting that out open and getting people to get in there and have a bit of a look around. We'll be releasing more and more graphics, including tonight, on where we're headed from what you'll see. But again, I can't say more than that without telling you the answer to the question that we just refused to answer. But the MVP for the Vault is it's the power board, and that is, as I said before, and all the plugs being the products go into that, and the power board, you wouldn't switch it on unless you've got things to plug into it. Will there be some sort of MVP launch party for the 300 people at the same time? Will this include influencers? Oh, someone's peeking in our windows. There'll be something, Ninja, definitely. When will RFOX Finance get some more love? It's getting love now. We've made a new hire for a product manager, and there's obviously the new sites come out, and they wouldn't be doing all of that if they weren't gearing up to do more stuff. Getting each side of staking was so exciting to see, but only one pool and done. Again, you wouldn't go through the rigmarole of being able to work out how to set all that stuff up if you were just going to do one pool and be done, right? So I think that what you're seeing is the little pieces being clicked together, bridges opening, more and more things being tracks laid for the foundation, and then then you've got to plug it all together. And I think that, if you saw RFOX TV, for example, and I know that some of you have, quite a few of you have, but if you saw RFOX TV, for example, and you said, RFOX TV, right, it looks like, something sort of like a YouTube, for example, and like a normal streaming thing, and then you take an NFT white label platform and you say, okay, you plug those things in together, and suddenly you've got the ability to do social gifting, and you've got content creation through NFTs, and you've got the ability to commercialize and commoditize footage and imagery. So you plug each of these pieces together, and that's where you get the real sort of value. And again, it paves the way to the creator economy, and it gives people like you guys an opportunity and a pathway to be able to create businesses and benefit from what you can produce from these tools. Did you see the new site? It's a type of love. Sure is, Urban Gecko. And again, you wouldn't bother going through all the auditing, all the contracts, all the cross-train, all the bridges, all of the website redos, all the hiring, if you thought we're not going to do anything with it. Everything we've built, regardless of what stage it's at or how utilized it is, has been built with a specific purpose and reason, and that is to plug in. Will the Vault be updated, iterated periodically, or just when you feel the need are ready to? So it'll be continually worked on. It'll be continually being upgraded, continually. It is. I like the new homepage, look more professional for sure. Yeah, it's really good. We're starting to really sort of make sure that there's more consistency across that, and the marketing team's done a huge lot of work on making sure that the branding's more consistent, and again, just some really good key hires have come on recently across all of the ventures to help us to really bring all of this together. Talking like monthly, quarterly, etc. I think it'll be more iteration based, because some things that we do with the Vault will be small pieces, but yet still worthy of an upgrade or iteration. But some things are big pieces, so they take a little bit longer. So you'll see that there won't necessarily be a release every 3 days or 5 days. It could be that they're sporadic. But what we've vowed to do is give regular developer updates so that you'd be able to see exactly what's going on, where we're up to, and you'd be able to get some video footage of what comes next. Burning Falls is heartbreaking, knowing to complete full set takes forever to complete. Why don't you just reward them instead? Just saying, yeah, that's what we're looking at. Aguila was saying that we are all of the stuff that we put in or put out so far is subject to change. We've said that, so that's something that we are definitely looking at. Again, also getting feedback on what people are likely to do helps us with the limited number of spots we've got. When Diamond Slammer and Semi-Foil Cogs. Diamond Slammer would be good, wouldn't it? A Foxy bot likes it too. They just advanced you to level 18. Well done. I think Image Trader, that's the thing. The thing is, if we wait until we've got something that's like super polished and we think, wow, that's like world class, let's go out with that, we know that that's going to take considerable amounts of time. And the most important thing is we've got to understand one thing, that, you know, if you're looking at the Y Combinator strategy and all the rest of it, they say get a line of code out, and then what happens is you get your friends to use it, see if there's any product market fit, then you go and develop the UI, then you get funding, then you develop the scaling, and you scale up and all the rest of it. What we're saying is we've got products and we're developing those products, and you've got finance, which, as you've seen, it's just had a facelift. It's got more people coming on, and we've got products and services already in motion. We've got games, we've got NFTs, we've got the NFT white label platform. So realistically, the Vault is like the line of code analogy. It's like the saying, right, how do we bring this together and offer it? And then how do we work really fast to work out where people are spending their time, where they want to spend their time, what's important to them. And again, if you do something really polished and put together, you're kind of making a lot of those decisions without a lot of the data. And due to the fact that there is little competition out there that's already up and running, there's very limited information on what we think people might respond best to. Any plans for having staking rewards similar to that? Okay, yeah. But that is not of the market transaction volume as far as we know, only the Vault volume. But yeah, so it's anything that happens or goes through the Vault. But we've also said that we would update people with any of those types of plans or transactions. We also said that these avatar systems and NFTs that we're about to produce and distribute will also have quite a healthy secondary market volume going into back to the community in rewards as well. So that was something in addition to what was promised. So we're always looking at trying to work out how to extend that and make things better, especially in the beginning when you don't have a fully finalized product or service offering. You've got to make sure that we're looking after the people that are giving us that feedback and utilizing and using those products. When holographic cogs? Well, I think that the closest we've probably got to that is the magic mirror. We should manipulate the system to get people to trade in the Vault instead of on the NFT marketplace website. Oh, that's exactly right. There's lots of little signposts for how to make that type of stuff happen, for sure. I've even had people that say that I've got that they'd say that they would buy a shop purely to start a collection that would then benefit themselves. If same 2%, same as OpenSea, would need to drop by 1.5. Yeah. So there's lots of things that we can do, Urban Gecko, to do things a little bit differently. I don't think you only have to flood the market with unnecessary tokens and stuff like that. There's lots of different ways that we can make those changes. Just before we go any further, is it you, Lala?
Yes, I was just about to jump in and say, should we share now?
You should. You should.
Alrighty. Is everybody ready? Okay, so just as a little bit of a recap of what happened over the weekend, we actually had a poll about what they wanted to see today. And out of the selection, it was actually the music quarter. So today,
Really?
yeah, it was. I think, wait, let me just check the announcement page. There was 50 people who voted for the music quarter. Calanova was 23, Arkamoto was 25, the science quarter was 37. Yeah, so music quarter it is tonight. One moment, just let me share my screen. Someone may need to stream it because we have like more than 40 people today.
Anyone know how to share the screen?
I think Urban Gecko, could you help us
Yeah,
with
it's already
that?
being done.
Yeah, on that.
Awesome, wonderful. Right, there we go. Polls were rigged. No, it was not.
We're letting it sink in before we explain. What do you think, guys? I'll anyone notice what the makeup is? You can see obviously a record in the middle, and you can see keys around the record in the middle. And you've got all of those elements that we've been using in our backdrops with the boombox and the piano and the guitar building, and then you've also got sound waves at the top. It's everyone thinks of the color combinations and the structure.
Where's
was really-
Kanye?
It's
Paul
very
was really-
radial design.
Did you say radio design or radial?
Radial.
Hmm.
I love the overhead planes. Imagine a apartment block floating above that centerpiece.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's written. He said, "Where's Kanye?" Didn't get a reaction, so he wrote it in the channel. Where is he? Yeah, so it's a very festive and vibrant environment, isn't it? For sure. But it's taken all the elements of what we've spoiled sort of previously and shown. But I think it's great because we have the added advantage of obviously being able to spoil to you over the coming weeks what all the quarters look like. But for us, we've already got the complete picture in our head, whereas you guys are getting it drip by drip. But that's very interesting as well that we've that people chose the music quarter. I assume because some people are still probably considering whether they should get in or what they want to do. But ultimately, I can't wait to show you the quarters that have already gone out as well. Look, see, there you go, Lala. Click next picture.
It's not. Nice try, though.
She was on you in 2 seconds. Very ELO, loving the disco ball. Yeah, it's actually I'm so excited for how diverse the quarters are, and the danger that we ran following the pathway before was that they weren't going to be as varied. And I think that these designs are just so much better, and quality so much better, and the direction we're heading is so much stronger. So I couldn't be happier with that for sure. And I'm really glad that this is the path that we've gone down. So really good. So this is concept. How close is the design team to this since the revamp? How close is the design team to this since the revamp? What do you mean? You mean how closely are the design team working with these designs? So what's happened is we've got back these altered designs and a lot of the 3D elements. And then what happens is now the team are working on building out the 3D assets for each of these pictures that you're seeing. And then that's what we're talking about when we say that it'll be iteration after iteration. So the team's now building the pieces that become what you're seeing in front of you. What you currently have is almost like a sandbox environment, which is drastically different from the final product, which has the stuff like the buy and the sell to plug in and the chat, the multiplayer, and all the rest of it. So this is a test of function of, can we scale? How does the avatar creation system go? How does it go for the ability for multiple people to be in there and chatting? How do we load test? And then what happens is we start to introduce the other products, as you know, that we've got in our ecosystem, and how do they click in together? And then the visuals are sort of like the wrapper. And that's what we've been recruiting for over the last 4 or 5 months, is the team to be able to build that out at pace, and to be able to sort of do that in parallel to the tech team that's actually piecing together all of the products that are already in the ecosystem and out there. I'll just go back to some of the questions that I had missed prior to that. Everyone can hear. How's Slam going? User base growing? Yes, it has been. Obviously, there's been lots of little issues with that, and it's been going through some revamps. And now there's obviously a second game in development, and we've also, from a user base perspective, on a game that's not games, but on a game we've had the RFOX Run launch in the Philippines, as many of you are aware. Just to give you some sort of comparisons, I'm doing this off the top of my head, so forgive me if I get it slightly wrong, but I think I'm pretty close. I think we had 999,000 games in the first week played in Myanmar, and we've had 983,000 played in the Philippines. So very, very similar numbers, which is very good. And that's going through the same type of cycle as Myanmar did. It started off with a relatively okay take-up rate, and then started to really take off. So that's good, and it's a good gateway into referring people to games and to get people knowledge in games as well. So the second game is being built by a different party. So it'll be very interested to see how it all clicks together, and then cogs get realized, because, as you know, cogs stands for keys to other games. So we start to see the cross-game utility for the pieces as well. But I'll let the games team talk to you about how that clicks in and how that works, so that I don't spoil things with that. Anything possible to make things easy to trade with Slam accounts that don't transfer their cogs to main account? So I guess what we're building circumvents a lot of what currently exists. So that's a good, if I can ask you to raise that again when Pete's back, or we'll pass that on to him, because his team are like freaking dynamos. You go in there with any type of problem and say, this is the problem that we're facing or we're trying to deal with, and he's got a team now that's just world-class, that are always trying to one-up what's out there in the market. And then when we try and look at what comes next, they're always very quick to try and find a solution on how to solve some problems. All right, catching back up. Are you revamping each quarter one at a time, all at once? It's a good question as well. So what might happen is the two might bleed into each other. So as we're doing the early ones, the latter ones may well, depending on time, and we'll get you clear answers on that very shortly once we start seeing how quick that build's happening. It might be that the latter ones are much closer to completion at the time of rollout, but in the initial stages, we'd be doing the base and then be upgrading it as we go. So we'll give you a much more detailed plan. Our internal world builder started with us a few days back, and he's sort of the maestro that will help us through those pieces and the integration, which we're really looking forward to. Imagine the top undulating as per current music playing in the guitar and changes color too. Yeah, it's so many cool things that can happen there. And I think that, as I say, each of those quarters, once you sort of have a look at the layers and what's going to be put in, and some of the people that we have the possibility of working for, especially the music quarter, will really sort of bring in technology offerings that are that give us a massive advantage as well. So I can't wait for all of this. How long do you think it will take? It's a very good question. As stated, now that we've got the right people assembled and we've got all of the pieces back, now we're working out how to make sure that this happens as quickly as possible. As far as clicking things in together, that can happen quickly or more quickly. The design or the 3D asset implementation is more of a bit intricate, but we also have to, like, I don't know, you guys, how much you guys know about this type of stuff, but I'd never even heard of poly counts and load balancing and stuff like that until I'd started on this. And there's lots of considerations, especially with VR, because what you don't want is it to be very clunky and be in a situation where everything takes a long time to load or things just pop up in your face. So you've got to balance something that's going to be a relatively good user experience, have good refresh rates, and make sure that you've got a non-dodgy pop-up type of experience and that it's relatively smooth. But we also know that the technology itself is progressing very quickly. There's new headsets, new iterations, new updates coming all the time. And we also have to build this with gaming in mind, because obviously there will be a heavy gaming component to what we're building. And we've also got to make sure that we are integrating multiple chains of multiple blockchain tech in there as well. So it's really interesting. I think that the safest way to answer that as well is that the art team and the build team that are doing the visuals are working very separately to the team that are doing a lot of the integration stuff. So they run in parallel, and they should work very well together. I know listing isn't priority, but weren't you guys collecting the data and volume and then applying? What's the follow-up at the moment? What's the date today? I would say check back with us in a couple of weeks from now. That's all I'm allowed to say. The new game being built, what kind of control does RFOX have over that? Full control. So the teams sat down and carefully designed what they want and how they want it to work, and I'm sure they're looking forward to sharing the details for that with you. I'm not sure if they've actually spoiled dates, but we know exactly when that's likely to be built, and it's I don't know if I've said it. If you guys know, you'll know. But it's a lot closer than people think it is. It's not like it's a year away or anything like that. It's actually very close. Anyone else experiencing Facebook login issues for COGS? I don't know if anyone's answered that or if someone's checked. Will you be able to use RFOX ID with RFOX Finance Marketplace? So the whole idea of RFOX ID is so that you could use it for everything in the ecosystem. And as many of you know, we have with multiple things started off with third-party providers for different things plugging into the IDs, or launching on chains, or launching on platforms, or launching on technology. And as we start to find product market fits, we also work to how to streamline those things to make it a lot more simplified. But RFOX ID is supposed to be your one-click entry into the ecosystem and access to everything that we have. So the answer is yes. Will there be more places to buy VFOX coming than just RFOX Finance? Maybe. Have you decided on content sharing on the 27th? Are we allowed to share? Still, we're about to release the information on that to give you the exact terms and guidelines and all the rest of it, Lara. So that's something that we're on top of. We are. Yeah, so Ninja's sort of said, Luke said he preferred people keep it on the load talking. Okay, but sharing images, videos preferred not. So we'll properly update you very shortly. Regarding Valt, will you make a super high demand, high quality version for PCs where we can set the visual quality based on our PC specs? My PC can obviously handle. So that's another good question that I'll get answered for you. But one thing that we did talk about was having the application version for use on mobiles and other devices way down the track. We talked about focusing on the VR first, and this is just an indication of the direction the build team's headed towards. They've already worked that part of it out, and as stated, some of you have probably already used that. We already do have the app version working and in testing and progressing as well. So we're actually ahead on quite a few things and behind on others, obviously, but ultimately we're doing multiple things simultaneously. And that's important because a lot of the other things that need to plug in might not yet be suited to or work as well with VR. So it is important that we have multiple things going at one time. The Lightning Network is getting traction in real life transactions. Will there be Bitcoin Lightning integration early on? So we have the ability to, I think most people know before that we actually tested to try and work out how to integrate with, to run on Bitcoin. So that technology is available to us. It's a matter of whether or not it's worthwhile. Will RFOX ever consider creating a crypto treasury, purchasing DOT, ETH, Poly, etc., and stake these with proceeds transferred back to the RFOX for rewards? Everything's possible. We're always looking into lots of those types of options for sure, and certainly we talk about that a lot with the finance team. But if we do decide to do that, we'll definitely tell you in advance for sure. Yes. It can be test, that's correct. Shop design specs remaining the same in terms of interior, exterior design. So Rebel Degen, there's been significant upgrades, so they've gotten a lot better from the design perspective. So that's something that we're about to spoil to you as well very shortly. Keys to other games, why burning tubes then? Sounds like conflict. Why do find more utilities for tubes, like use tube for concerts or games? Yeah, so there will be stuff like that as well for sure. But what we're trying to do is also be mindful of the fact that we've got more games coming, more people coming in as well. And there is also, as you know, a strong request to ensure that we are doing something for holders that currently exist. And we're looking at supply, demand, scarcity, and also a number of different ways to provide more value to the early investors, which is very important. So there will, of course, be other utilities, and we've mentioned or spoiled on many AMAs. If you listen to the little hints that are given, that there will be multiple use cases for tubes and cogs. Will this be reflective on the shop's NFTs as well? Yes, correct, for sure. Supply is too big. At the moment, the supply is too big for the demand and also for the users. But obviously, with multiple games coming, Metaverse opening, but we still, even though we know that there's going to need to be a lot more, we still tried to make sure that there was a value add now. Yeah, we've got to hop off as well. No problems. We try and answer all of those questions the best we can. Sometimes we can't give you the perfect answer or the answer that you 100% want to hear, or sometimes we're just not allowed to say. But we do try and make sure that we answer all those questions for you as best we can. So really quickly, I've got to jump off for another big meeting as well. But Void Cyber Discord here. When do we see Dave again? Will there be cross AMAs? Excited? Yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes and have been for quite a long time. And it's exciting to see what they're about to bring to the RFOX ecosystem and platform as well. They have not been idle in any way, shape, or form. So really excited that they're building a lot of cool stuff that will benefit us for sure. Now it's big, but what about the coming days? Do you think still big? Yeah, so you're welcome, guys. I've got to get to the next meeting, but thank you very much for your time tonight. I appreciate you coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed the spoil, and we look forward to seeing you back on Wednesday night. Until then, trade safe and be safe.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.